Professor Gilbert Doctorow, for joining us today as a Russian affairs expert from Brussels. Thank you very much. Now, moving on to Middle East, Hezbollah has confirmed the death of senior military official Ali Tabtabai following an Israeli airstrike in the southern suburb of Beirut. Hezbollah leadership says it will decide on whether and how the group will respond, raising tensions in the region. The group mourns Tabtabai as a great jihadist commander who dedicated his life to confronting Israel without revealing specific details about his role. The Israeli military says the strike targeted Tabtabai, acting chief of staff of the Iran-backed group. This marks the first attack on Beirut's outskirts in months, despite a U.S.-brokered truce last year. Hezbollah official Mahmoud Kamati has said that the strike crosses a red line and took place in Harek Hireik, a well-known stronghold. Now for this discussion, we welcome Mohammed Osman. He's an international relations expert, joins us live from Cairo. Thank you very much, Mohammed, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, of looking at all this, do you think, what do you think of how the truce is holding up, US-backed truce? It's been a year almost since it was brokered in November last year. And how do you think this Mr. Ali Tabtabai's killing will affect? Do you think that will lead Iran to react to his killing?
Thank you for having me, Asuma. It was a pleasure to be with you. Of course, what's going on in Lebanon, as we have said before numerous times on your kind broadcast, that it has been a one-sided ceasefire. The Lebanese side, Hezbollah, and other factions have been upholding their commitments and obligations under the ceasefire, complying with these provisions, dismantling their infrastructure in the southern Lithuania River as dictated by the ceasefire agreement, which was mediated by the United States back in November 2024. Yet Israel has chosen to incessantly violate the ceasefire over the course of a year, carrying out incursions, maintaining the occupation of 5 strategic points inside Lebanon along the blue line, which is the border between Lebanon and Israel. And also they carry out basically now almost daily airstrikes, causing the death of about over 350 Lebanese in the past year. And of course, now they have engaged in a very sharp and dangerous escalation with the assassination of Hezbollah's military chief, Haytham Ali Tabtabai. Tabtabai is a very pivotal figure in Hezbollah's military apparatus. He is basically the military chief of staff of the organization, its military commander, and his predecessor, Fuad Shukr, was assassinated also by Israel in the summer of 2024 in the prelude to the all-out war between Hezbollah and Israel, which is an indication that things might be moving in the same direction again, that Israel once more is electing to carry out the assassination of high-ranking members and the key leaders of Hezbollah in order to pave the way for a possible open conflict with the organization once more. And of course, Israel's pretext behind this is that Hezbollah is regrouping and is rearming, and it has provided zero evidence to support that, actually, whether Israel or the United States. And also the Trump administration and Israel have been pressuring the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah, something which is not feasible to be undertaken haphazardly or so rapidly, because it would basically lead to a civil war in Lebanon. Hezbollah is one of the major components of the Lebanese political spectrum, and it is a representative of the Shiite religious community in Lebanon, which constitutes about 30% of the population. And as you very well know, Asuma, Lebanon's political system is a confessional political system where there's a power-sharing agreement between the different sects. So when a certain component is being threatened and singled out in order to be persecuted one way or the other, even for the sake of disarmament, this could lead to civil war. So therefore, the Lebanese government has been very reluctant in confronting Hezbollah. So now the alternative is, okay, Israel will do the job and it might actually invade Lebanon again and carry out a massive military operation to destroy whatever is left of Hezbollah's capabilities. So unfortunately, we are on the cusp of a potential sharp escalation in Lebanon, Asuma, that might
Right.
lead to an all-out war within the next few weeks. I hope this doesn't happen, but it
Yes.
seems to be that the indicators are heading that way.
And Osman, I remember you mentioned that, you also mentioned that maybe something similar could happen with Iran in a few months.
Yep.
Why do you think Hezbollah has not retaliated to continuous Israeli attacks despite US brokered ceasefire a year ago? Do you think it's waiting for Iran to back it more or something?
Yeah, of course, for three main reasons. And before I get to those three main reasons, of course,
Yes.
Hezbollah is an Iranian proxy, so it would never take any such step without consultation with Iran, or even rather without the permission of Iran. And there are three major factors that prevent Hezbollah from responding or retaliating. So far, the first one is that Hezbollah has been severely weakened in the last round of fighting with the Israelis. It has lost its historical leadership, including Hassan Nasrallah, its phenomenal leader, and also its capabilities due to the pager attacks and also the Israeli bombardment and the Israeli invasion. The military infrastructure has been decimated. They lost much of their heavy weapons. They lost thousands of fighters, and especially from the Radwan force, which is the elite fighting unit of Hezbollah's military branch. So as you can see, they were basically defeated militarily in the last round of fighting, and it's quite doubtful that they have managed to regroup and reconstitute their forces within the span of a year. The second factor is that the Assad regime in Syria has fallen, which means that their key ally in Syria and the land bridge between Lebanon and Iran, by which Iran supplied Hezbollah with weapons and funds, now ceases to exist. There now is a regime in Syria that is very hostile to Hezbollah, and also the 12-day war against Iran. Iran itself has been severely weakened by the Israeli-American war against it back in the summer of 2025. And I think that Iran is very eager not to engage in any confrontation that could lead to another confrontation between it and Israel at this point, even though they
Yes.
would rather sacrifice Hezbollah in a war by proxy with Israel than actually jump into a direct war with the Israelis. So I think that Hezbollah at this point will not be very eager to retaliate against Israel. However, Israel wants Hezbollah to retaliate and respond, and
Yes.
they will keep provoking Hezbollah so that they would respond at some point. And of course, this will be used as a pretext to initiate maybe a larger military campaign against Lebanon by the
Right.
Israeli occupation.
Yes, very typical of Israel.